Hi, and welcome back to another Mailbag Monday. This is Scott Ford from MrFordsClass.net, and today's question comes from viewers out there, and that is, how do we make note cards? In previous Monday mailbags, I talked about making note cards to help you study, and also my anatomy and physiology videos, we talked about making note cards, and I was asked, how do you make the note cards? So before we get into how to make them, let's actually go and get the equipment we need. So now we have the parts that we need. We have our note cards, we have our index cards, or whatever these things are called. These are called index cards. I've seen them also called note cards. And we have several to choose from. So for example, we have note cards that have multicolors. These may run you maybe, say, $2 to $4 at max for a pack of these, depending on where you're at and depending on where you buy them from. So here we have, and hopefully you can see these in the camera, and they're not being too blown out, but we have different colors of the note cards. Now, I was originally going to pass by on these, but my wife, who was there recording me, went, oh, no, pick the colored. And I'm like, yeah, I want it. And she's like, choose the colored note cards. They're much cooler. And I'm going, okay, fine. So, little freebie out there for you guys out there. When your wife says, ooh, pick this one, do so. Otherwise, well, studying will be the least of your problems. So I picked up the different color note cards. Now, in all honesty, these are pretty decent to have. What you can do with multicolored cards is you can, for example, the muscles. You can take a look at the muscles of mastication, that's chewing, and maybe you want them all on the yellow cards. And then maybe you'll take a look at the muscles that move the forearm, and you might want to put those all on the blue cards. See, I pulled them out for you, the blue cards. You might want to then take a look at the muscles that move the leg and the foot, and those you'd put on the green cards. So the multicolored cards do have some value, and you can use them, and I've used these things in the past. The downside of using cards like this, of course, is that they're free-floating cards, and you'll have to use a rubber band to keep track of these things. The other option that you can do, and this is one of my personal favorites, is the ones that are on the spiral. These things are spiral bound, and you can write your information inside, and it stays with you. One of the really good advantages of this is that, let's say that you're in a program where you're going to have to take a national board or some sort of state testing, and you're going to come back and you're going to need to know this stuff. Well, when you have them bound like this, what you can do on one side is just write, let's say, skeletal muscles. And you can throw these in a bin, and then when it comes time for your national boards a year later or however much later, you can bust these out, and they're all held together, and you don't have to worry about rubber bands. Other things that you'll need, pens, obviously you'll need something to write with. You might need something to, you might want more of a pencil person. I personally love the mechanical pencils. It beats having to sharpen pencils. So I'm a mechanical pencil fan. And of course, make sure they're number 2 lead, because number 2 lead makes the world go around. I think you would cause Scantron machines everywhere to blow up if you use anything besides number 2. So pen, pencil, something to write with. I would also suggest highlighters. And then what you're going to want to do is take your note cards, and I'll use this spiral bound as an example. You're going to take your muscles or your bones or whatever you're using these note cards for, and you're going to find your information. So for example, we're going to take a look at the muscles of mastication, and I'm going to throw up right now a slide that we use in my videos. And if you're watching this without looking at my videos, don't forget we have a whole bunch of A&P videos out there. And this one particularly is from, let's see what video. This is from the video 910 muscle video. So that's from video 9-10. So we're taking a look at the muscles of mastication. And I'm going to pick on the masseter muscle. So on one side of the card, I'm going to write down origin. I'm going to write down insertion. I'm going to write down action. And if I have to know the nerve, I'll write down the nerve. So far I have this. I have origin, insertion, action, and nerve. And if you can see my handwriting, this is why I type everything now. But again, don't forget, these note cards are for you, so they can be as messy as they want to be. They don't have to be neat and clean or anything like that. Remember, you're doing what works for you. That was the important point from the How to Study session, or How to Take Notes. So origin. So the origin of the masseter is the zygomatic arch and the maxilla. It inserts into the coronoid process and ramus of the mandible. The action is it elevates the mandible. Okay, elevate, closes the jaw. So I have this written, and again, it's not very neat. This is just notes for me to look at. So when I'm studying for my anatomy class, this is what I would be looking at. So on one side, you have that information that you need to know, and on the other side, on the back of the card, on the white back part of the card, you're going to write down the name of the muscle. So for example, I've written down masseter. So when I'm studying this, I can look at this and go masseter, and I go, okay, what was the origin? What was the insertion? What was the action? And then I can check myself and I go, okay, cool, I was right, boom, 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 awesome. Or I can study it like this, and I can go, okay, what muscle has an origin at the zygomatic arch and at the maxilla? What inserts into coronoid process and ramus and mandible? So what muscle is this? And then I can look, I can go, is it the sternocleidomastoid? Ooh, no, it's not. So let me memorize that some more. Another thing, which I also recommend doing, which students sometimes don't do, and that is, excuse me, once you, let me have my sip of coffee here. So not only do you want to put name of the muscle on the back or the bone and the insertion, the origin, all that stuff, the information, the meat of the material on the other side, you also want to group these. So for example, the muscles of mastication. Not only can an instructor ask you what's the origins and insertions of these muscles, they can also ask you questions such as, of the following, which is not part of this group. So I would, on another note card, write down, for example, the masseter, the temporalis, and the medial and lateral pterygoid, not pterygoid, pterygoid. So I'd write down this. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be really neat. Just this little jotting down of information is good enough in many cases. On the other side of the note card, on the blank side of the note card back here, I will then write down muscles of mastication. Okay. Again, quick, easy, boom, 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 done. You don't have a lot of time to do a bunch of calligraphy on these things when you're studying all these muscles or all these body parts. You just want something that you can look at. So what are the advantages to doing this? There are a couple of good advantages why, again, we recommend and why you hear so many anatomy teachers saying to do these. One, it makes you look at the information and then write it down or summarize the information depending on what you're doing. So you're reading it, you're looking at it, and you're writing it down. You're hitting a couple of different learning styles. Also, these are very, very, very portable. Right now, I work up here in North Virginia, right around where DC is. I think it's about 20 miles or so to the White House. Unfortunately, it's about 4 hours with traffic. So, for example, if I have to go into DC, I don't want to bust out, you know, the big old anatomy book. This thing is heavy, and I don't want to carry a big old anatomy book on the metro station. People are going to look at me funny, and it's just inconvenient, and you got to carry it around all day. But it's nothing to bust out your note cards. One, nobody knows what you're looking at. Nobody knows what you're studying. And you can bust these out. They're very, you know, low profile. You can take a look at them on the metro. Boom, 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 you're done. You can bring these to work with you. So for example, if you're sitting in your cube, you leave a page open right next to your phone or by your keyboard, and you just kind of look at it and look at it as you're going through your day. And when you've got the first page done, you flip it over and you move on again. It's a way to bring your materials with you and not have them interfere with your life. So the note cards are very, very valuable. I highly recommend doing them. Again, I was not a fan of these things until I started doing them, and then I fell in love with them. They're fantastic. So that's it for me. We're going to keep this video short. The last one was pretty long. This one I wanted to keep short, sweet, to the point. Thank you very much for watching. Our YouTube channel is absolutely blowing up. The first Mailbag Monday took about 2 weeks to get to 100 views. The second Mailbag Monday hit 100 views within a couple of days. Our subscriber rate is still growing. We have over 4,000 subscribers. We're quickly heading to 5,000 subscribers. So if you like these videos, please, by all means, click the subscribe button. Click that button. I'll wait. Okay, thank you for clicking the subscribe button. If you haven't clicked it, click it, please. And of course, if you like these videos, click like. If you have questions you want me to answer about anatomy class or about being a student or about life in general, I'm more than happy to answer those. I very much enjoy in my face-to-face class not only talking about the topic, but talking about job strategies, interview strategies, things like that. So everything's fair game. If you have a question for me, please email me at mrford@mrfordsclass.com. You can also join in the fun and the discussion by joining my Facebook page, and we have the link right on the bottom as well as on the screen. So until next Monday, have fun, enjoy studying out there, and we will see you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.